Stoicism is a philosophy that has guided humanity for over 2,000 years. At its core, Stoicism emphasizes virtue, reason, and living in accordance with nature. This ancient philosophy originated around 300 BCE in the vibrant intellectual landscape of the Hellenistic world. The map before us shows the Mediterranean region during this transformative period in human thought. Stoicism was founded by Zeno of Citium, a philosopher who established his school in Athens. The name Stoicism itself comes from the stoa poikile, meaning painted porch, the covered walkway where Zeno taught his students. Zeno of Citium, born around 334 BCE, founded this influential school of thought. The Stoic tradition would later be carried forward by great thinkers and leaders, shaping both Hellenistic and Roman intellectual life. What makes Stoicism unique is its practical framework for living. Stoics believe we should focus our energy and attention on what we can actually control: our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions. This philosophy became a dominant school of thought throughout the Hellenistic and Roman periods, influencing emperors, slaves, and citizens alike. Stoicism offers timeless wisdom for navigating life's inevitable challenges with grace and wisdom. As we explore Stoicism further, we will discover how this ancient wisdom can guide us toward a life of virtue, resilience, and inner peace. The journey begins with understanding what we can and cannot control. At the heart of Stoic philosophy lie the four cardinal virtues, which form the foundation of all Stoic ethics. These virtues represent the core principles that guide a Stoic toward a life of excellence and flourishing. These four virtues, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, each have both Greek and Latin names, reflecting their importance in both Hellenistic and Roman philosophy. Wisdom, known as Sophia in Greek and prudentia in Latin, is the virtue of understanding. It involves not just knowledge, but the ability to make sound judgments about what is truly good and how to live well. Courage, or Andrea in Greek and fortitudo in Latin, extends beyond physical bravery. It encompasses moral fortitude, the strength to do what is right even when it is difficult or unpopular. Justice, called dikaiosune in Greek and justitia in Latin, is the virtue that governs our relationships with others. It encompasses fairness, respect, and fulfilling our duties to our community and fellow human beings. Temperance, known as sophrosyne in Greek and temperantia in Latin, is the virtue of moderation and self-control. It involves managing our desires and impulses, avoiding excess, and maintaining balance in all aspects of life. These four virtues are not separate qualities, but are deeply interconnected. True wisdom requires courage to act on knowledge. Justice demands temperance to avoid favoritism. Each virtue supports and strengthens the others. The cultivation of these four cardinal virtues is the Stoic path to eudaimonia, often translated as happiness, but better understood as human flourishing or living well. By striving for virtue in all aspects of life, one achieves the highest form of human excellence. The dichotomy of control is perhaps the most fundamental and practical concept in Stoic philosophy. This principle teaches us to distinguish between what is within our power to influence and what lies beyond our control. Stoics categorize all aspects of life into two fundamental categories. First, things within our control include our thoughts, judgments, emotions, reactions, and the actions we choose to take. Second, things outside our control include external events, other people's actions and decisions, and outcomes in both the past and future that we cannot change. This concept can be visualized as concentric circles, with our direct control at the center, expanding outward to areas of influence, and finally to everything else that remains beyond our power. This principle was most clearly articulated by Epictetus, the former slave who became one of the most influential Stoic teachers. His teachings on this subject form the foundation of Stoic practice. When faced with overwhelming thoughts and emotions, the dichotomy of control provides a practical framework for response. We ask ourselves, what can I actually do about this situation? If there are concrete steps we can take, we focus our energy on creating an action plan. If there is nothing we can do, we practice acceptance and prevent the situation from overwhelming us unnecessarily. Understanding the relationship between our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors is crucial to applying this principle effectively. Our thoughts create our feelings, which influence our behavior, which in turn reinforces our thoughts. This Stoic concept aligns closely with modern psychology's understanding of locus of control. Those with an internal locus believe their actions influence outcomes, while those with an external locus attribute results to outside forces. Regular practice of the dichotomy of control yields significant psychological benefits. Research shows it reduces anxiety and stress while increasing resilience and emotional stability. It also improves our focus by directing energy toward actionable areas, enhances our sense of personal agency, and develops better problem-solving abilities by clarifying what we can and cannot influence. By consistently applying this principle, we transform our relationship with challenges and setbacks, focusing our mental and emotional resources where they can be most effective while maintaining equanimity in the face of circumstances beyond our control. Stoic physics forms the foundation of their entire philosophical system. Unlike modern physics, Stoic physics was fundamentally concerned with understanding the nature of reality and how everything in the universe connects together. The Stoics believed in a materialist metaphysics. This means that everything that exists in the universe is ultimately composed of matter. Unlike Plato, who believed in non-material forms, Stoics argued that even abstract things like souls, thoughts, and emotions are material substances. Central to Stoic physics is the concept of pneuma, which means vital breath or spirit. Pneuma is a divine, rational substance that permeates all things in the universe. It flows through everything, giving life to living beings and holding together inanimate objects. This pneuma is not static, but constantly in motion, creating a dynamic, interconnected cosmos where everything influences everything else. The tension and movement of pneuma explains how objects maintain their form and how cause and effect work throughout the universe. Stoics divided all of reality into two categories: bodies and incorporeals. Bodies are things that can act and be acted upon. This includes not just physical objects, but also souls, pneuma, and even qualities like colors and virtues. Incorporeals, on the other hand, cannot act or be acted upon. These include time, space or void, and syables, which are the meanings expressed by language. While incorporeals exist, they have no causal power in the physical world. The Stoic universe is a single, interconnected whole. Like a beehive where every part serves the whole, everything in the cosmos is connected through pneuma and governed by rational natural laws. This cosmic sympathy means that events in one part of the universe can influence distant parts. For Stoics, God is not a personal deity separate from the world, but rather the rational principle that governs the entire cosmos. God is identical with nature, fate, and the divine reason that orders all things. This divine logos pervades everything through pneuma, ensuring that the universe operates according to rational laws. This understanding of physics directly connects to Stoic ethics. If the universe is rational and governed by divine reason, then the best life is one lived in accordance with this cosmic nature. By understanding how the universe works, we learn how we should live, rationally, virtuously, and in harmony with the natural order. Stoic logic represents one of the three fundamental branches of Stoic philosophy, alongside physics and ethics. The Stoics developed sophisticated tools for reasoning that remain influential in modern logic and communication. This diagram illustrates how Stoic logic connects theory with practice. Logic, along with physics and ethics, forms the theoretical foundation that guides practical virtues like justice, prudence, temperance, and courage. Stoic logic divides into two main branches. Rhetoric focuses on the art of persuasive communication, helping speakers engage audiences effectively. Dialectic emphasizes logical reasoning and the systematic discovery of truth through valid arguments. Central to Stoic philosophy of language is the concept of lecta, or syables. Lecta represent the meaning or content of utterances, distinct from both the physical sounds of words and the actual objects they refer to. This three-way distinction was revolutionary for ancient philosophy. The Stoics made significant contributions to propositional logic and syllogistic reasoning. This diagram shows the complex structure of Stoic logical systems, including different types of arguments, premises, and conclusions. Their approach emphasized the logical validity of argument forms. Here's a classic example of Stoic syllogistic reasoning. The Stoics developed 5 basic argument forms called indemonstrables, which served as the foundation for more complex logical proofs. The Stoics also grappled with modality and logical paradoxes. They examined statements about possibility, necessity, and contingency. Famous paradoxes like the liar paradox challenged their logical systems and led to sophisticated solutions that influenced later philosophical thought. Stoic logic provides practical tools for clear thinking, effective communication, and sound judgment. These logical principles help us identify valid arguments, structure persuasive discourse, and make rational decisions based on careful analysis rather than emotion or impulse. Stoic ethics represents the practical heart of Stoic philosophy, focusing on how we should live our lives. At its core, Stoic ethics teaches us to live in accordance with nature, both human nature and the nature of the universe itself. The telos, or ultimate goal of human life according to the Stoics, is to live in agreement with nature. This means understanding both our human nature as rational and social beings, and our place within the larger cosmic order. For Stoics, virtue is the sole good. The 4 cardinal virtues, wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance, form the foundation of ethical living. Everything else, including wealth, health, or reputation, is considered morally indifferent. Stoics categorize all things into 3 groups: good, which is virtue alone; preferred indifference, like health and wealth, which are naturally preferred but not essential for virtue; and dispreferred indifference, like illness or poverty, which we naturally avoid but don't make us less virtuous. Stoic cosmopolitanism teaches that all human beings are citizens of the same cosmic city. Because we all share the same rational nature, our moral duties extend beyond our immediate community to encompass all of humanity. Stoic ethics provides practical guidance for daily living. Through morning reflection, mindful responses to challenges, recognition of our shared humanity, and evening self-examination, we can gradually align our lives with nature and develop virtue. Stoic ethics successfully bridges philosophical theory with practical living. By understanding our nature, focusing on virtue, recognizing what truly matters, and embracing our role as global citizens, we can live fulfilling lives in harmony with the natural order. Stoicism offers a sophisticated approach to emotional management that differs fundamentally from emotional suppression. Rather than eliminating emotions, Stoics seek to understand and transform them through the application of reason and wisdom. The Stoics understood that emotions do not arise directly from external events, but from our judgments and interpretations of those events. This insight is revolutionary because it places emotional control within our power. The Stoics distinguished between 2 types of emotional responses: pathe, which are unhealthy passions based on false judgments, and eupathei, which are healthy emotions grounded in correct understanding of reality. Notice that the goal is not to eliminate all emotions, but to transform destructive passions into constructive ones. Fear becomes caution, craving becomes rational wishing, and excessive pleasure becomes genuine joy. The ultimate aim is apatheia, equanimity, not indifference. One of the most practical Stoic techniques for emotional management is cognitive restructuring, the process of examining and challenging our automatic thoughts and judgments. This diagram illustrates how the same event can lead to vastly different emotional outcomes depending on our interpretation. A dysfunctional thought leads to discouragement and reduced effort, while a functional thought maintains motivation and resilience. Stoics employ several cognitive techniques to transform their emotional responses. They question their initial impressions, examine evidence objectively, consider alternative perspectives, and consistently redirect their attention to what lies within their control. Mindfulness and present moment awareness are also central to Stoic emotional practice. By cultivating awareness of our thoughts and reactions as they arise, we create space for rational reflection before emotional reactions take hold. This mindfulness practice helps develop the mental discipline necessary for Stoic emotional regulation. When the mind wanders into destructive thought patterns, we gently return our attention to the present moment and our capacity for rational choice. The dichotomy of control, fundamental to Stoic philosophy, provides a powerful framework for managing overwhelming emotions. When faced with intense feelings, we ask ourselves, what can I actually do about this situation? If there are concrete next steps we can take, we channel our emotional energy into constructive action. If there is nothing we can do, we practice acceptance and prevent the situation from overwhelming us unnecessarily. Through consistent practice of these Stoic principles, we develop genuine emotional resilience. We learn to respond rather than react, to choose our emotional states consciously, and to maintain inner tranquility even amid external turbulence. This is the path to the Stoic ideal of apatheia, not the absence of feeling, but the presence of wisdom in our emotional lives. Remember, the Stoic approach to emotions is not about becoming unfeeling, but about becoming wise in our feelings, responding to life's challenges with both compassion and clarity. Stoicism's influence extends far beyond ancient philosophy, shaping Western thought for over 2 millennia. From its origins in ancient Greece and Rome, Stoic ideas have permeated grammar, logic, Christian theology, and political philosophy. 3 towering figures exemplify Stoicism's enduring appeal: Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor whose Meditations remain a bestseller; Seneca, whose letters on ethics influenced countless thinkers; and Epictetus, the former slave whose teachings on freedom and dignity continue to inspire. Stoicism profoundly shaped multiple intellectual domains. In grammar, Stoics developed theories of language that influenced linguistic thought. In logic, they advanced propositional reasoning. Christian theologians like Augustine incorporated Stoic concepts of virtue and divine providence into Christian doctrine. Today, Stoicism is experiencing an unprecedented revival. Research shows significant benefits. Studies report a 17% increase in Stoic feelings among participants in Stoic Week, with measurable improvements in resilience, empathy, and reduced negative thinking. Stoic principles are now applied across diverse fields. Counseling and therapy integrate Stoic techniques with cognitive behavioral therapy. Business leaders use Stoic decision-making frameworks, and educational institutions teach Stoic resilience. From Silicon Valley executives to prison rehabilitation programs, Stoicism provides practical wisdom for modern challenges. Stoicism's enduring influence reflects its fundamental insight that wisdom, virtue, and emotional resilience are timeless human needs. As we face modern challenges, from technology to climate change, Stoic principles of focusing on what we can control, living according to reason, and maintaining virtue provide a practical philosophy for navigating uncertainty and finding meaning in contemporary life.